Hello and welcome to the floor in front of the fire because I wanted to do something different today. I looked back and I realized I haven't done the Knitting Diaries in almost 2 years. So, oops, I guess. But I can guarantee you I've been making a lot of stuff. So much stuff. Where's there? Okay, camera is there. I struggle to look at a camera. I look at the phone because that's what's filming. So if I'm not looking directly at you, I'm just yeah. You know this. If you watched any of my other videos, and I talk a lot, that's kind of what I do. So today, I call them the Knitting Diaries. I came up with that many years ago. But I also do crochet. So, the knitting and crochet diaries. Anyway, I made stuff, as I always do, because I start most of my days with a little bit of crafting, and then I end my day with more crafting. I like it. I like to knit. I like to crochet. I have a couple of looms that I have not used in, honestly, probably decades. One that I've actually never used, but what can you do? Anyway, I wanted to show off what I've done in January. And things takes time to make. And the first one I actually started with in technically last year. We're closing in on mid-February now, so it seems like a long time ago. It's not that long ago, but I tend to get cold. And it's winter, so, that's not helping with the keeping warm thing. And where I sit on the kitchen, it has kind of like a bench. And I have, a layer of fabric on it. But it's cotton. And cotton, not that warm to sit on. So I found some leftover yarns and I made this. A little square with 4 colors. Can you see all of them? Yeah, this is it. It's a little square that I sit on basically in my kitchen when I sit in the kitchen, so my butt will not be too cold. I started with the brown, then blue, then red, then green, and they were leftovers. Though I think they came together very nicely. And the blue one is a yarn called PT2. It's an old one. The rest, I have no idea. They're wool or wool blends. I honestly don't know because no labels. And I think they were all leftovers I got from either my mom or my sister. So, but I will say it makes the butt not so cold when I sit in the kitchen, which is great because I hate having a cold butt. I think I made that what I call the butt warmers. It's technically wool shorts, but I made them a couple of years ago. They're great. But, sometimes you're wearing pants, don't need to have the butt warmers under, so. And then I got some yarn, some random yarn, because the next thing I did, and this one is knitted. I almost hit myself, yes. And I spent 8 days knitting this. Even though it's super easy knitting, it's just no, not stockinette. Because you see it's rillestrikk, that's the Norwegian word. Garter stitch, that's the English word. Yeah, so it's you just knit stitches all the time everywhere, so super simple. And yet I still used 8 days because other things were happening too. I think I was shoveling snow and stuff because winter, there's still a lot of snow outside. It's not as cold today, but it's gonna be a cold couple of next days, so I don't know if there's gonna be snow though, so who knows. But and then I have this knit group that I go to, and at one of them, in the beginning of the year, in the beginning of January, a couple of bags came in with a bunch of different yarns, and I got to pick some for free. Very happy about that. And some of what I picked was this one, and I got 2 balls for this one, but they're big ones. They're like 100 grams. So first, I knitted a double-stranded beanie. I've never done that before, and I mean, the tag says 5mm needles. That's what I used because apparently, wait, was it? Yes, 5mm needles because that's the biggest ones I have. But since I was double stranding it, it was not an easy, but they're super good. But it's a little more dense than I expected because I totally should have used a bigger needle, but I didn't have one. And it's double stranded, so it's very thick, very like nice. And it is, hold on. Is it? Yeah, because it's different. It's acrylic, cotton, and only 15% wool. Can you even see that? I don't know. Anyway. So yeah. Oh, let's have the lighting come back. There we are. So yeah, double-stranded beanie. Super easy. Really enjoyed it. But yeah. Never made such a hat before. But I really liked it. It got a little weird at the top because I was using smaller needles than what would have been, well, advisable for the thickness of the yarn, but you know, you use what you got. At least that's what I do. And I used, wow, did I use that long? Yeah, I was doing several things. I was doing 2 things at once. So in total I used 6 days making this, but that is very simple because I was also making something else. I was crocheting this one. I don't know if I'll be able to show you, like, can you see all of it? I think you can see it. I'm trying to look through it now. So I crocheted this little thing, which turned out, as you can see, a lot bigger. A lot bigger than I thought it would. But also I used a bigger needle than what was recommended for the pattern because, you know, I often do not have the kind of right yarn. I'm not gonna go buy yarn. I'm just gonna look through everything that I got and use some of that. And when you do it that way, you end up with like things not necessarily being the size you think. So this one is a lot bigger than what I thought it would be, but it's super cute though. I mean, look at it. But the sides, I tried to this is so hard, but like, can you see these little tiny like things on top there? I don't know if there's called a picot. I don't know how to say it, but it's a thingy. I was like, oh, I like this pattern, and you don't have the picots around it. That's what I thought. I didn't read the full pattern before I started, and when I realized, because I kind of hate making those, and they're also a pain to iron, because I have ironed this one to try to make it as flat as possible, but I hate making the picots, and I thought there were none, but they're like, every single one of these have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's one in between each. So every one of these like little bumps here, oh man, there's so many of them, and I kind of hated that part. I love the rest of the part, and I mean, it did turn out real pretty, and I like it, but oh my god, I hate picots. Picots? I have no idea how you say it. Either way. And I made like this and this kind of simultaneously, because this one is good to travel with, to like take to knit group, and this one I have to pay attention to, especially, you know, the side, or all the sides. The whole side, the whole edge around. And so I spent 15 days on that little thing, which turns out bigger than I kind of intended. But, you know, I'm not fully sure what the yarn I used for this one, but I used a 1.25mm crochet hook, so that's fairly tiny. So maybe it taking that much time wasn't that surprising, but, you know. But making this beanie, I had leftovers. So I made a headband. Look! And I managed to like make this knot thingy when I sewed it up. But it's so cute. I love it. And obviously, same yarn as the beanie. This is not double-stranded, but I made it like, I basically knitted a tube and then I sewed it up. So that did not take that long. Because this was... Wait, did I knit a tube? Yeah, I knitted a tube. I was like, did I make it flat? No. I'm not crazy about sewing things up. So this sewing is like the only sewing I got. And I have my handy dandy little notepad. I used a 5mm needle, but this time it was not double-stranded, so it went like way quicker because the struggle of actually having not suitable needles with the beanie. But I still managed to use 5 days on this, so you know, it's a thing. Things takes time, okay? Things takes a lot of time. And in the like free yarn giveaway, I also got a ball of Lynette. Judging by the from Sandnesgarden, judging by the label, also probably an old ball of yarn, and it was blue, really pretty blue color, and I made another headband. So apparently I'm doing headbands now with cables. Love that. And I knitted it in a tube, and if I turn it around, so this is the back side, no like only garter stitch. And if I look real closely, I know that you can't I know I sewed it together here, but it's not really possible to see. Wait, where did it go? Here. I might be able to see some. I don't think you can see it on camera. No, wait. Okay, it's practically impossible to see, but it was a pain because I knitted it in a tube, but I started with kind of live stitches, and then I used the Kitchener stitch to put it together in the end. And it was a nightmare, but it was also fun because even on the ones, I mean, this one is very clear where I sewed it together. This one, you can't tell. You literally can't tell. And I thought that was really cool. And I loved how the cables turned out. And they'll be obviously that way. And I used, let's see, 3mm needles, and I spent 9 days knitting it, and then I spent not actually a full day, but I'm gonna count a day sewing it together. But because when I Kitchenered it together, I wasn't able to like pull the stitches completely close right away because I had to get in the next one and the next one. So by the time I had used the Kitchener stitch to put it all together, I had to like tug it and make it even. And turns out I made a mistake doing that. So I was pulling it the wrong way. So then I had to pull it all the way back again to make it so, you know, I could actually weave in the end and make it as invisible as possible. So that, yeah, it took 10 days on this. At the same time, I mean, look at the cables. They're so pretty. But they do take a little extra time. So I'm very pleased with taking basically only 10 days in this one. And then, apparently, ear warmers or headbands, whatever you want to call them, was a big hit for me making it. I obviously hope to some point I can sell it. And getting free yarn was also great. So I also got another one. This one is also 100% wool. And I mean, I like making this one so much, so I was like, oh, I want to make the same. But this yarn is thicker, so I had to make a different thing. still a headband with cables, just the other way. Now they're up and down instead of, you know, around, up and down. So cables for all of it. And I knitted it. I started, let's see, yeah. I started here and then I knitted the cables and then a little bit of ribbing and then stuck in it and then sewed it up. So when you put it on, it's perfect. And I really like it. And I love the yellow color. I mean, look at it. Isn't it pretty? I love it. So yeah, I, you know, kept going with the headband theme. But this one I had to use the 3.5 millimeter needle because it was thicker yarn. And I spent 2 days on this. And that is, even though I knitted like halfway and then I realized I wouldn't have enough yarn to do kind of like the fold over so it would be double, because it is double. I mean, look, it's double. So I had to unravel basically half of it and do it again, but I mean, still used only 2 days. But a little bit bigger needles, thicker yarn, and like I knitted circular, like I knitted round this way instead of this one when I knitted like the small circular, like a long tube, instead of this when I knitted this way. So this was like so much more efficient, so much more efficient. But I love them both. I mean, I'm very proud of having an invisible connection or invisible, I don't know, where I put them together, it's invisible. This one, when I just hold it, you can see it's very visible that I sewed it together here. But when you put it on, it won't be shown because it'll stretch out. So love that one. But with only 2 days on this, I still had more January left. And then I made a short and sweet little something. And I'm not sure what's the front and back side, but here is the short and sweet little black thing. It's basically a little, oh, I don't know what the English word is. In Norwegian it's called brikke. Like, not a tablecloth because it's too little, and it's not a table runner because it's not like long rectangular. It's a square, a quadrant. Anyway, isn't it pretty? I really like it. And this is crochet, which is why calling this the Knitting Diaries is a little bit, you know, it's still yarn crafts. So yeah, here it is. It's a very, very simple, and it's black yarn, and I have no idea what kind of black yarn, but it was thin enough so I can make this. And I used a 1.5 millimeter needle, and I spent 4 days on this, and I love it. It's so cute. And a part of me totally hopes someone else will love it too, so I can sell it. So that was most of my January. I did start a sweater and another little something that I've never done before, but even though I started them in January, I'm not done, and I'm like way further along now, at least on the other little something that I've never done before. So I'm going to show you that in the next Knitting Diaries. But I mean, I made one thing to keep my butt warm. I made 2 very different sized squares. I made 1 hat, and I made 3 headbands. So I feel like January was like a very productive month. Now I just need someone to buy all this stuff. Except the wool stuff that I'm sitting on in the kitchen, because ain't no one gonna get that. I have found something though, or I haven't found it, but I've realized something, and that is that this one, the one that I'm sitting on, I mean, when I sit and then I move and then it's like it stretches all the directions. So I should have crocheted because that kind of like it's more compact and it stays not yeah, well, it stays less stretchy, but it moves less. And I'm not known for sitting completely still all the time, so when winter is over and I don't feel like my butt needs this to keep heat in the kitchen anymore, I'm gonna undo it and crochet approximately the same size square, but I'm gonna crochet it so it will kind of keep its shape better when I sit on it next winter. But that will happen after this winter is over. So yeah, that's all I made in January. I'm very happy with it. I'm also happy with the fact that I got free yarn. I am happy with the things I made. I think I'm most proud of making an invisible connection on this one. But I think the one I like the most is this one. And maybe the beanie. I mean, I really like the beanie. So yeah, that's what I did. That's what I made in January. Do you like do any crafts? Knitting, crochet, embroidery, weaving? What else can you do? There's so much you can do. I don't even know everything. And I certainly don't know how to do everything, but you know, I'm working on it. I'm learning. I'm designing. I'm gonna make a pattern for both this and this, but if you've heard any of my other videos, I've had some issues with PayPal and their Ravelry, so I can't sell pattern at the moment. So currently I'm just working on making them, hoping at some point I will get to have a website so I can sell patterns from there. Who knows? Give me good thoughts and vibes and hope that it happens at some point. I think I'm gonna go with that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I will talk to you in the next one.